Hi there. Today I'm sharing with you a real life event in which one of our candidates who was on assignment walked off the job and refused to return to work until we could guarantee their 100% safety from COVID-19. So they walked off and then they submitted a claim to the Ontario Labour Relations Board to our surprise. Now today I'm going to share with you what happened and what we learned, and employers, I think this one is important. So the candidate is someone we had assigned several times, a responsible and able person. Our client was happy with this person's work and definitely had in place the necessary protocols in terms of safety. I'll tell you, the person was behind a plastic shield. They were in an environment that was almost or virtually alone. There was absolutely no visitors or people that they would be having contact with. And so we felt quite confident in the steps that our client had taken. You might be wondering how we knew this. Well, we had inspected our client site more than once. We had photos on hand, and we had properly documented both what our client had provided and what we knew about the measures that we had personally seen. So when the candidate walked off the job, they started to call and email us extensively, claiming that we would owe them for the duration of their assignment because we couldn't guarantee their safety. So we moved into action. We spoke with our client, we re-inspected, and we felt confident in our steps. Now, the candidate completely ghosted us. We tried to reach out and to find out more about what their position was, and maybe we would investigate together, but no, there was absolutely no communication. To our surprise, we suddenly receive a notice from the Ontario Labour Relations Board, and it's about the fact that this candidate was expecting to be paid for the duration of their assignment. So we then, normally I do all of this work on my own, but I did actually work with our lawyer on this one because I wanted to make sure that our reply would be technical and perfect. Because imagine if we lost, would that in fact be saying to all of our candidates and all of your candidates and all of our employees, well, why would you ever bother working ever? You can be paid 100% until 100% safety can be guaranteed. So our lawyer submitted, a technical, perfect reply, and to our surprise, we get a notice of mediation. Well, I think as employers and as HR professionals, you know that it normally takes months and even years before you get a notice of mediation. Well, in this case, we got the notice of mediation for the day that our reply was even due. And as you know, you only have 10 days from the time that the complainant puts it in place to the time that you reply. So they were prepared to mediate our case that quickly. So we submitted for an extension because we thought, okay, we need time. We haven't even submitted our response yet. So lo and behold, we get an extension of 1 week. So we wondered why it is that the Ontario Labour Relations Board would actually be putting our case so much in the forefront, especially for a relatively small amount of money. And in fact, it was because they also, I would say, would want to know exactly what they're going to do with these COVID-19 cases, and they expect to have quite a large number of work refusals coming their way, and inspections as well. So in this context, we ended up speaking with the mediator before we ever got to mediation, so the day prior, and we reviewed the facts of the case. So what we had done well, we had amazing documentation, we had inspected. What our client had done well, they offered a safe environment. It was very clear that their measures were awesome. What our candidate had done was that they had stopped participating in the process, and there is a legal requirement on the part of the candidate to participate. What we did wrong was that we did not call the Ministry of Labour for an inspection after our own inspection. So what should have happened when the candidate refused work and we had already inspected and they refused to participate was we should have called the Ministry of Labour, and they also would have inspected. So in that case, they're doing most of their inspections by phone right now. They would have contacted our client. They would have done their own submission and their own decision on whether or not what we were doing was sufficient, what our client was doing was sufficient, and they would have then made a claim, let us know that we were safe or not safe. So we never thought of doing this. And the reason I'm going to tell you that never came to mind is because I only ever thought of the Ministry of Labour for an inspection for anything like equipment or a workplace where the candidate would say, I'm not trained on this equipment, or the equipment is faulty. But a virus never came to mind. And I wonder if it's come to your mind that if you do have a situation like this, that you would have to call the Ministry of Labour. So my recommendation there is be sure to get an inspection. Because it only takes 1 business day, why not get the practical advice? So the end result of this case is that, in fact, we ended up settling with the candidate for 2 weeks' pay. It's a nominal sum. You know, there's really no issue there. However, we did want to know where we could have done better. So what we would like to offer you is we're going to present a webinar on exactly this subject, work refusal. We're going to go through step by step, and it's going to be no more than 45 minutes. I'm going to invite one of our lawyers to join us so that we're having a conversation around how to tackle this. I suspect all of us in Ontario and across the country, actually, we're going to be dealing with work refusals. And so why not prepare in advance and really have a strict protocol around how to manage that. And so you're welcome. Of course, it's free. We are giving you any information that we have in our experience. I'm finding that as a business owner, I've never seen so many unusual circumstances, and what I'm learning, I want to give you. So please participate in this webinar. And if you can't, we'd also be really glad to send you a step-by-step afterwards. So that would be maybe next Friday or the week after that, where we provide you a summary of what we've learned and our takeaways. So you can email us and obtain a copy of that if you can't join our webinar, which is on June 11th at 11 a.m. So thank you so much for joining us today. And if you have any other commentary, please share it here.